Hoi there, small fry, and welcome to another episode of Itch.io Tasty, the game where we put a random word into itch.io and see what kind of interesting games we get, if indeed there are any interesting games to get. This week, because Resident Evil 0 came out and I did a review of it on thejimquisition.com, what you can read with your eyes, I thought I'd just put in Resident. Resident Evil's a bit too specific, but I like to try and keep some sort of relevant theme going with this show, so we went with Resident. We actually did find one Resident Evil game. Well, we actually found two, but one of them's a text adventure, and that just doesn't make good video material. But we do have one Resident Evil game and a whole bunch of other stuff that's somehow vaguely connected to Resident, the word. Anyway, have fun with it, I guess. Up first is Resident Evil, and now this isn't the Resident Evil themed game, this is just a play on words. It's a game jam game. The idea is to switch off your TV and your lights, turn off an alarm clock, close curtains, basically just try and make it look like you're not home within a certain time limit, otherwise trick-or-treaters will know you're in. I think that's the premise. To be honest, I didn't really like it, and I still don't quite get it. I think in my last run I did turn everything off, but I must have missed one thing, I guess. But yeah, I mean, you can see it. It's not the best made game. It's one of those game jam games, so it's obviously been cobbled together in a brief amount of time as per the requirements of a game jam game. But even so, I can't even get up the stairs. That's the problem. I can't even get up the stairs to turn off the lights. You've got to kind of struggle to get up there, which kind of ruins the thing, but it's got the Ghostbusters Pumpkin Man dance on the TV screen, so that's something, I guess. Otherwise, I couldn't really recommend using your time playing it, so I'm going to give this one green herb out of all of the red and green ones mixed up. Thanks. Up next is Residuals, which I suppose is a visual novel. There's no real interaction. You can choose which chapter you look at first, and that's really your only interaction. You just kind of press spacebar to read the text, which I don't know if this is based on anything. I didn't understand a word of it. All I really gleaned from it is that it's got all big tits on it, and that's about all I could get out of it. Eventually I just held the spacebar down and let everything go of its own accord, which actually is quite funny. If you just sort of watch everything unfold at a rapid pace with all of the sound effects, I found that amusing. Outside of that, not particularly brilliantly drawn. Like I said, the story, at least to me, is complete gibberish. Maybe it means something to someone. I'm going to have to give this one a D- virus. Here's the one that's actually related to Resident Evil. It's Re1 Mansion War, a horror action shooter game. The only problem with it is they've just made a bit of the map. They've said that the rest of it isn't working. They haven't worked out how to do online gameplay yet. So at this point, it's just a virtual walk around a bit of the Spencer Mansion. For an amateur project, you know, they've recreated it to some impressive degree. So I said oppressive degree, which I guess the Spencer Mansion was, but that wasn't the word I meant to use. Yeah, I mean, you know, someone cobbled this together, and well done them. It's fairly accurate. The frames and everything make my eyes hurt when I'm turning to look around, and some bits of it seem a bit disjointed, and well, there's nothing to do. But yeah, I mean, it's well done, I suppose. I don't know if there's a market for a game like this. You'd think Capcom in its desperation would have already capitalised on it by now if there was. I mean, they did Operation Raccoon City and everybody hated that. Although I found it pretty decent, and I realise I'm in a minority saying that, but I thought Operation Raccoon City was alright. But that's just me. I think it's because there was a lot of gas masks in it, and gas masks are cool. But as for this, this is going to get an RE1 out of 5. Up next is our last pick, and also the pick of the week. This is Murder at the Residence Gudule. It is a point-and-click adventure, has a kind of old-style LucasArts look to it. It's foul-mouthed, it's somewhat racy with its humour, but it's quite charming, actually. I didn't get massively far into it, I just played enough to obviously give it a run through its paces for this video, but I was into it. The puzzles I saw were not particularly difficult. The game actually spells a lot of stuff out for you, at least in the early portions. But it's fun. You play it in your browser. It's it's cute, the character designs are fantastic, the music's nice, and it's just a really nice traditional little point and click, and I'd actually love to see this one maybe expanded a bit. You know, I don't know how long it is, but I'm assuming if it's a browser game it's not massively lengthy, but maybe expand that out a bit, and I'd definitely give this a go if it was put on Steam or you know, any of the digital networks, because it's definitely got the right stuff. It's really well made. You can play it for free on itch.io, and this is my recommendation of the week. I definitely suggest you give it a look. At least give it a look, see what you think. It only costs time, and for a game like this, a few minutes spent is not going to be a few minutes wasted. So that's my pick of the week. Thumbs up. This one gets probably the highest score I could give on today's gradient. It gets Albert Wesker. And that was it. That was itch.io Tasty for another edition. I hope you enjoyed it. Resident was the word. I mean, it didn't really open me up for much, did it? But it was. We found one good game. We did find Murder at the Residence Gudule, so that's good. You know, as long as we find one little gem from it, I think it's worth it. Okay. So I'm going to go now, and I'll see you later. Until next time, get itchy and stay tasty, my friends. Beautiful, tasty bastards.
Woof woofer. Woof woofer. Woof woofer. Woof woofer. Woof woofer. Woof woofer.